What if I told you there was a boy who went into the forest and met a man who eats people? And what if I told you the boy did not die? This is the story of Kibaraka. Before this story ends, you will see why the whole village feared his name. Long ago, in a small village near a dark forest, there lived a boy named Kibaraka. He was not big. He was not strong. But he was brave. Very brave. People in the village feared the forest. They said, "Do not go inside. There is something there. It does not forgive." But Kibaraka always asked, "What is inside the forest?" One day, a hunter ran into the village. He was shaking. He was crying. He shouted, "He took them. He took them again." The villagers asked, "Who took them?" The hunter whispered, "The sorcerer." The whole village became silent. Even the wind stopped. Everyone knew the name. The cannibal sorcerer. They said he lived deep in the forest. They said he had long black robes. They said his eyes were red. They said he could smell fear. And when he catches you, he eats you. 3 people had disappeared that month. No one wanted to go. Except one person. Kibaraka. His mother grabbed him. "You are just a boy." Kibaraka looked at the forest. If no one goes, he will keep coming. That night, Kibaraka packed food. Before sunrise, he walked into the forest alone. He did not know something was already watching him. The forest was quiet. Too quiet. Then, boom! The ground shook. Kibaraka turned. Behind him stood a giant horse. It was bigger than any horse he had ever seen. Its eyes were bright gold. Its body was strong like stone. The horse spoke. "Why are you here, boy?" Kibaraka almost fainted. "You can talk." "Yes. And I can run faster than death," the horse said. Kibaraka swallowed. "I am looking for the sorcerer." "If you go alone, you will die," said the horse. "Will you help me?" asked Kibaraka. "I have been waiting for someone brave," said the horse. "Climb on." Kibaraka climbed. In seconds, they flew through the forest like the wind. The forest became darker. Trees twisted like arms. Shadows moved. Strange noises came from everywhere. "Something watches you," said the horse. The forest tests the brave. They reached a river. The water was black. The air was sharp. Bubbles rose like the river was breathing. "You must cross," said the horse. Kibaraka looked. "It is dangerous." "It is. But fear is your enemy. You must not stop." Kibaraka stepped forward. The river pushed him. Cold water beat him. A voice whispered, "Turn back." "No," he shouted. "I am not afraid." The horse lowered itself. Kibaraka climbed on its back. They crossed safely. Hours passed. Kibaraka grew tired. His legs ached. His stomach growled. Then the forest became very quiet. Too quiet. A field of strange flowers appeared. They glowed in the dark. Mist hovered above. "This is a trap," whispered the horse. "The sorcerer can confuse you here." Kibaraka stepped carefully. A small creature jumped from the mist. It had red eyes and sharp teeth. "You are mine," it hissed. Kibaraka froze. The horse shouted, "Strike with your heart. Not your fear." Kibaraka took a deep breath. He stepped forward. "You have no power over me," he said calmly. The creature screeched and vanished. The forest cleared. Kibaraka looked at the horse. "I am learning," said the horse. "But the real test is ahead." The sorcerer waits. The forest became thicker. Shadows grew taller. Strange whispers filled the air. Branches tried to block their path. Leaves fell like knives. Kibaraka almost stumbled. He wanted to turn back. The horse's golden eyes met his. "You have courage," it said. "But courage alone is not enough. You must be clever." They moved forward. A clearing appeared. The sorcerer's house stood in the middle, made of bones. Smoke rose from the roof. The smell was terrible. The cannibal sorcerer appeared. His black robe swayed. Red eyes glowed. He smiled. "I smell a child," he said. Kibaraka stepped forward. "I am not afraid of you." The forest went silent. The sorcerer lifted his hand. Dark wind rose. But Kibaraka's courage had grown. He was ready. The dark wind whipped around Kibaraka. Leaves spun in the air like sharp knives. The trees groaned. The shadows moved closer. The sorcerer's eyes glowed red. "You think you can defeat me?" he hissed. "I am not afraid," said Kibaraka. The sorcerer laughed. It sounded like dry bones breaking. Suddenly, the ground shook. The bones of his house rose into the air. They spun around like a storm. The sorcerer pointed his hand. The bones shot toward Kibaraka like spears. Kibaraka jumped back. The horse shouted, "Move fast. Think fast." Kibaraka ducked. He rolled to the side. He grabbed a big stick from the ground. He swung it at a flying bone. The bone shattered. The sorcerer frowned. He stomped the ground. Dark shapes rose from the shadows. They were twisted animals. Half man, half beast. They had sharp teeth and glowing eyes. Kibaraka froze. The horse whispered, "Do not run. Find their weak spot." Kibaraka looked carefully. The creatures hesitated whenever he held the stick high. He realized they feared him only when he looked strong. He shouted, "Go away." The creatures hissed and ran back into the shadows. The sorcerer's red eyes grew wider. "You are clever," said the sorcerer. "But cleverness alone will not save you." The sorcerer raised his hands. A dark mist rose. It swirled around Kibaraka. The mist smelled like fire and smoke. It made him dizzy. It whispered in his ear, "Give up. Give up." Kibaraka shook his head. "I will not," he yelled. He remembered what the horse said, "Strike with your heart, not your fear." He stepped forward. The mist tried to push him back. He stumbled. He fell. But he got up again. He held his stick high. He closed his eyes for a moment. He felt courage in his chest. He felt strength in his legs. When he opened his eyes, he ran straight into the mist. It tried to grab him. It tried to push him into the sorcerer. But Kibaraka kept going. Step by step. Breath by breath. Then he saw it. The sorcerer's eyes were glowing brighter. His hands moved faster. Dark shadowy arms stretched from the ground. They tried to grab Kibaraka. The horse shouted, "Now, Kibaraka." Kibaraka swung the stick. The stick hit the ground. A shockwave ran through the mist. The shadowy arms shattered. The sorcerer screamed. His robe fled like black fire. He ran toward Kibaraka. Kibaraka jumped on the horse's back. The horse ran faster than the wind. The sorcerer followed, his dark fire reaching out. He tried to burn the forest. Branches caught fire. The ground cracked. Kibaraka held on tight. The horse leaped over the burning trees. Kibaraka remembered the small creatures from before. He shouted, "Stop feeding on fear." The creatures froze. The sorcerer screamed. He could feel his power weakening. The horse landed in a clearing. Kibaraka jumped off. He stood in front of the sorcerer. "Your power is nothing without fear," he shouted. The sorcerer roared. Dark wind swirled around him. It grew bigger. Kibaraka took a deep breath. He thought of his family. He thought of his village. He thought of all the people the sorcerer had hurt. He felt courage stronger than the wind. He stepped forward. The sorcerer raised his hand to strike. Kibaraka swung his stick. The wind stopped. The shadow broke. The sorcerer screamed. His red eyes flickered. He fell to the ground. The bones of the house fell. The fire went out. The creatures ran away. The mist disappeared. The horse landed beside Kibaraka. "Well done," it said softly. "You have won. The sorcerer is gone." Kibaraka looked at the sorcerer. His black robe burned into ashes. His red eyes were gone. The forest was quiet. The villagers who were trapped came out from the shadows. They were weak, but alive. They hugged Kibaraka. "You saved us," they said. Kibaraka smiled. The horse nuzzled him. "You were brave," said the horse. "But remember, courage and cleverness together are stronger than fear." The forest felt alive. The sun shone through the trees. The village was safe. Kibaraka returned home. The villagers cheered. The hunter bowed. The elder said, "You went into the forest and came back alive. You are a hero." From that day on, no one feared the forest. And whenever children asked, "Who defeated the cannibal sorcerer?" the elders would smile and say, "A boy who refused to be afraid." His name was Kibaraka. After the sorcerer's dark mist, the forest became quiet. But Kibaraka knew the danger was not over. The forest had more tests. The horse moved carefully. "The forest will try you again," it said. "Watch your step. Stay brave and smart." Kibaraka nodded. They walked through thick trees. The ground was soft with moss. Strange sounds came from above. Branches snapped. Leaves whispered. The shadows seemed alive. Suddenly, small glowing eyes appeared. Tiny creatures with sharp teeth surrounded them. They laughed in high voices. "Who walks here?" they said. Kibaraka shivered. The horse whispered, "Do not be afraid. Think." Kibaraka held his stick. He looked at the creatures. "They fear courage," he remembered. He lifted his head high. He shouted, "Go away." The creatures screeched and ran into the shadows. Then the ground shook again. A river appeared. But this river had no water. It was made of fire. Flames danced and hissed. Smoke filled the air. Kibaraka stepped back. "How do we cross?" he asked. The horse said, "Courage, not fear. Watch the fire carefully. Step where it moves slow." Kibaraka jumped on a stone. He stepped carefully, one by one. Flames roared, but he did not panic. The horse followed him. They reached the other side safely. They walked for hours. Kibaraka grew tired. His legs hurt. His stomach rumbled. Then he saw a dark hill. The hill was twisted. Rocks moved like snakes. Eyes glowed on the stones. The sorcerer's magic was everywhere. The horse whispered, "This is the last test. After this, we face him again." Kibaraka nodded. He stepped forward. The hill shook. Rocks rolled toward them. Kibaraka ducked. He ran between the stones. The horse galloped beside him. He swung his stick at the moving rocks. They broke into pieces. At the top of the hill, a huge tree waited. Its trunk was black. Its branches twisted. Eyes blinked from the shadows. Suddenly, the sorcerer appeared again. His red eyes glowed brighter than ever. He laughed. "You think you are done?" he said. "Not yet. Dark wind swirled. Branches hit Kibaraka. Rocks flew. The creatures from before appeared. Kibaraka held his stick. He remembered the horse's words, "Use courage, not fear." He shouted, "Leave them alone." The creatures froze. The sorcerer roared. Kibaraka stepped forward. He swung his stick. The wind stopped. The creatures vanished. The rocks fell harmlessly. The sorcerer lifted both hands. Dark energy formed in the air. He shouted, "You cannot win, boy." Kibaraka took a deep breath. He thought of his village. He thought of his family. He thought of every person the sorcerer had hurt. He raised his stick high. He shouted with all his heart, "I am not afraid of you." The sorcerer screamed. The dark energy shattered. He fell to the ground. His robe burned into ashes. His red eyes disappeared. The forest became calm. The horse nuzzled Kibaraka. "You were brave. You were clever. You are a true hero." The villagers hugged Kibaraka. The missing people were free. The forest felt alive and safe again. Kibaraka smiled. He had faced fear. He had used courage. He had saved his village. From that day on, the forest was no longer feared. The villagers told the story to every child. Who defeated the cannibal sorcerer? They asked. The boy who was brave. His name was Kibaraka, they said.